There is a garden bed running along the south side of my barn. It has been there for 11 years. Last spring, I spent about 3 hours on it, total for the whole growing season. Not 3 hours a week. 3 hours all year, no spray, no service, no pulling, nothing but a layer of cardboard and 6 inches of old straw, the same system my mother used before me, and her mother before her. That bed has not had a weed problem in 4 years. I'm going to show you exactly what's in it, and I'm going to tell you the part that should make you a little uneasy, which is that none of what I'm about to say is complicated or expensive, and most folks have never heard it because there's no money in telling them. Stay with me. My name is Brother Abram. I'm Mennonite. I farm in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, and I've been working this same ground for more than 20 years. 3 generations of this family have gardened here. Nobody in this family has paid a weed service in living memory. Nobody has rototilled in the spring to start fresh. And the garden produces more food per square foot than any of the neighbors who spend the summer fighting weeds the hard way. I'm not telling you that because I'm better than anybody. I'm telling you because the method is simple and nobody taught it to you. And I think you deserve to know it. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what to do this weekend and why it works, and you'll understand why the people selling you spray bottles and lawn services haven't explained any of this. Let me start with what most folks get wrong, because if you don't understand this one thing, none of the rest of the system will stick. People fight the weeds they can see. They pull them, hoe them, spray them, burn them, and the weeds come back. So they pull again, spray again, and start over. The problem isn't the weeds you can see. The problem is the ones in the ground. Under every inch of your garden soil right now, there is a buried reserve of weed seeds. Weed scientists call it the seed bank. Every weed that ever went to seed on your property added to it. And every gust of wind blowing seeds in from the neighbor's yard added to it too. Some of those seeds can sit in dark soil for 5 years. Some for 10, some for 20, waiting for the light. Here's the part that trips most people up. When you rototill your garden in the spring to loosen the soil and start fresh, you are not clearing the garden. You are opening a bank vault. You're pulling those buried seeds up to the surface where the light hits them, and they germinate right alongside your seedlings. That flush of weeds 2 weeks after you till, you didn't bring them in from outside. You grew them yourself from seed that was already there. That is not a folk saying. That is just soil biology. My community stopped tilling between seasons a long time ago. We add material on top. We never disturb what's underneath, and that one habit alone cuts the weed problem in half. Now, here is what we actually do. The first time takes an afternoon. After that, you won't think about weeds the same way again. The system has 2 parts. The first part handles what's already growing. The second part handles everything that comes after. For the weeds already in your garden beds, the fastest and most honest tool is a sharp hoe on a dry, sunny day. Don't wait for a cloudy, damp morning. Wait for sun. Scratch the weeds off at the soil surface, just enough to sever the stem from the root. Then leave them lying there. A weed with no leaves and no water can't recover. This works best on annual weeds, the ones that start fresh from seed every season. And annual weeds are the majority of what's bothering most gardens. Scratch the surface, sever the stem, leave it. And whatever you do, don't dig deep. Don't turn the soil over. Remember what I just told you about the seed bank. For weeds in hard places, cracks in a stone path, along a gravel drive where you can't hoe, boiling water works. Carry it out in a kettle and pour it slow and direct. The scalding water breaks down the plant cells. The leaves collapse within a day, and there's no residue left behind when the water cools. It costs nothing. For a thick-rooted perennial in a crack, you may need to do it 2 or 3 times over a couple of weeks. Now here's something most folks don't know about, and it's worth your attention. For tougher weeds in areas away from your beds, along a fence line, on a path you want clear, there's one more option worth knowing. The USDA Agricultural Research Service studied vinegar as a weed killer. Not kitchen vinegar, horticultural vinegar. 20% acetic acid, 4 times stronger than what you pour on a salad. At that concentration, they found it killed 85 to 100% of most annual weeds within 24 hours. But I'm going to be honest with you. 20% acetic acid is a real acid. It will burn your skin and your eyes if you're careless. Wear gloves. It kills any plant it touches, so use it where you want bare ground, not near vegetables. And household vinegar at 5% won't do what the internet claims. It'll knock back tiny seedlings, but it's not strong enough for established weeds. That's the first part. Kill what's there with the right tool for the right spot. Now here's the part that changes everything. Once you've cleared the surface, the job is to make sure nothing grows back. And that's where the cardboard comes in. Lay cardboard flat on the surface of your bed. Plain brown cardboard. Moving boxes, appliance boxes, whatever you can get from the hardware store or the grocery in town. They pay to have it hauled away. Take it off their hands. Peel off any tape, remove any staples, and lay it flat, wet side down, overlapping the edges by 4 to 6 inches. Every edge, every seam. Weeds will find any gap you leave them. Don't leave gaps. Wet the cardboard after it's down. It needs to stay in contact with the soil, not curl up and lift at the corners. Then cover it with a good thick layer of straw, wood chips, or compost, at least 4 inches. 6 is better. This holds the cardboard flat, keeps it from drying out, and breaks down over the course of the season into the best soil amendment you can put on a bed. By next spring, the cardboard is gone. Earthworms have eaten it. The soil underneath is darker, softer, and richer than it was. That's the sheet mulch system. Cardboard blocks the light. No light, no germination, no germination, no weeds. The straw on top holds everything in place and keeps the soil cool and moist for your plants. While it does it, the cardboard is free. Ask any hardware store, appliance store, or grocery. They pay to haul it away. A bale of straw runs $3 to $5 at any farm supply. For a standard raised bed, you might spend $8 to $10 total. One bed, one afternoon, done for the season. When you plant into a sheet mulched bed, cut a small hole through the cardboard for each transplant. You don't lift the whole thing, don't disturb the soil. Make a hole, put the plant in, and the cardboard keeps doing its job around every plant you put in. After the mulch is down, leave the soil alone. Don't scratch around with a cultivator to check on things underneath. Every time you disturb the soil, you bring more seeds to the surface. The system only works if you let it work. That is the whole thing right there. We plant close together so the canopy shades its own soil surface, crowding out anything that pushes through a gap. Most people never think of their crop plants as part of the weed control system. They are. An hour of planning at planting time does more than a whole season of spraying. And the last rule, if a weed does come through, and occasionally one will, usually at the edge of the bed or through a gap you missed, pull it when it's small. Before it flowers, before it sets seed. One weed going to seed can add thousands of seeds to your soil bank. That's the math of it. Don't let them get that far. Now, I want to tell you the part I promised. Weed control services charge between $50 and $125 per visit. Some folks sign up for every 2 weeks through the growing season. You do that math. That's $500 to $1,000 a year, sometimes more, for a service that kills what's there today and leaves every dormant seed in the ground untouched. The weeds are back in a month, and then you pay again. The products on the garden store shelf, herbicide sprays, pre-emergents, whatever they're pushing this season, cost money every time you buy them. And they address the top of the problem, not the root of it. I'm not saying every person who sells you these things is dishonest. I'm saying the system those products are built around wasn't designed to solve your problem permanently. Permanent solutions don't generate repeat customers. The weed company needs you to keep needing them. Cardboard costs nothing. Straw costs a few dollars. And together, they do something that no spray bottle ever has. They address the light, which is what seeds actually need to germinate. Block the light, starve the seed bank, and the problem shrinks every single year instead of coming back the same as last May. There's no money in telling you that. Which is why, until now, nobody told you. Let me tell you what the system won't do, because this is exactly where I see things get oversold, and I won't be part of that. If you have established perennial weeds with deep root systems, bindweed, Canada thistle, ground elder, creeping Charlie the cardboard and straw will slow them down but won't kill them outright in one season. Perennial weeds store energy in their roots. They can push up through a lot of material if the roots are strong enough. For those, you'll need to relay the cardboard the following spring and smother them for a second season. Some folks add a layer of wood chips on top of the straw for extra depth on tough perennial patches. It works, but it takes more than 1 year. The mulch also needs refreshing each year. Cardboard breaks down. Add fresh mulch each spring before the weeds have a chance to push through. 10 minutes of work at the start of the season keeps the system going. And keep the straw a couple of inches back from the base of your tomato plants and anything prone to stem rot. Too much moisture held against the stem in wet weather causes problems you don't want. The mulch belongs around the plant, not pressed right up against it. This system is better in its second year than its first, and better in its third year than its second. The seed bank depletes a little each season you keep seeds from germinating. The soil gets richer, the garden gets easier. That's the direction you want to be heading. Here's what I want you to do. Pick one bed, one problem bed, the one you've been fighting the longest. This weekend, collect cardboard. Ask the hardware store if they have boxes they're breaking down. Ask the appliance store. Ask the grocery. Get more than you think you need. Overlap the edges, and you'll use it. Lay the cardboard flat and wet it down good. Pile 4 to 6 inches of straw or wood chips on top. Walk away. Come back in a week and see what's happened. Come back in a month. Then tell me in the comments below where you garden and what weed has been giving you the most trouble. I read every one of those. I want to hear what you find. The next video I'm putting together is about something my grandmother used to add to the soil before planting each spring. 3 ingredients, 2 of them already in your kitchen, 1 of them from the barn. She never bought a bag of fertilizer in her life, and her rows came in thicker and healthier than anything the feed store sells. You won't guess the 3rd ingredient. The people who built this country with their hands knew things we are only just starting to remember.